Hi, and welcome back to another video tutorial on using Moodle 2.6 for your York County School Division virtual high school teachers, as well as any teachers in the county that are using Moodle to blend their classrooms. In this video, we're going to look at how to add a discussion forum. If you followed along with any of the previous videos, we have looked at how to edit our course to make the layout appear in a way that actually makes sense in terms of the progression that we're going to use in our course. And one of the things that we looked at last time when we did that was we had these discussion board participation expectations but no actual discussion board. So what we're going to do is add that to our course. So a discussion board, or also called a forum, is an activity that the students are going to use to communicate with each other in a course. So what I want to do is come over to this Add an Activity drop-down menu, and I'm going to scroll down until we find Forum. Do notice right now that there are a lot of pieces in this activity that we can choose from, but we're not going to go over them all. There are some pieces that we use quite a bit more often than others: assignments, quizzes, forums being three of the big ones, and some other ones that we don't use as much. But for the forum, I'm going to go ahead and start it off. Again, we have the forum name, which is the text that shows up that students will click on to actually go into the forum. So I'm just going to call this My First Forum. And then in the description, we have the directions that we want to give students. So I'm going to tell them to respond to each of the prompts that are given in the forum. Be sure to follow all requirements in the discussion board expectations document. Alright, so now that I have that, we can come down here and just preview most of these different options. So I'm not going to change most of these, but it's giving me some options here on if a student wants to attach a file, how big can it be. The upper limit is 64 megs. Hopefully we're not having too many students uploading 64 megs within here. We're going to put it at simply 5 megs in case they want to post a picture to go along with their discussion board post, since it's going to be a little bit about them. The maximum number of attachments, we don't want any more than one on that. Display the word count for students. On this one, not so much. We're not going to be strictly looking at a word count on them, although that certainly is something that you can do in the future. Subscription and tracking. This will actually send an email anytime somebody posts a discussion board to the student or the teacher. And we're going to do optional tracking, although we can force students to be subscribed to this, and we can also make it so that nobody can be subscribed to this. The read tracking, this is kind of a neat feature where if we have read tracking on for students, and students kind of have some control over how this works on their Moodle settings, but if they have it set to on, then they're actually going to see a little blue number next to the form anytime there are posts that they haven't read. The post threshold and blocking, again, just open this up to show you. There are the question marks if you want to look at that, but we're going to leave that as not blocked. The grade category, typically not using Moodle for our grade book because we have to use another system, Aspen, starting in 2014-15. So we're going to leave grading uncategorized. We do have rating systems that can be used on this. Again, question marks if you want to dig in and learn a little bit more about that, but we're going to just leave the defaults. And lastly, our common module settings where students can see this and are not put in groups by default. Because again, there's no groups actually set up in this Moodle course, but with our blended teachers you will have groups set up if you have multiple sections. So that groups mode will change for you. Alright, I'm going to change and save and return to this course, and we see my first form has shown up right here at the bottom, and that's where all new activities will show up, is at the bottom of the block you put them in. So I do want to move this right beneath our discussion board expectations, and I'm going to slide it to the right so it lines up and looks nice and pretty. Now, to get this actually totally done for students, notice that when I put in the instructions, respond to each prompt, each of the prompts that are given in the forum, we have to put a prompt in here for students to respond to. tell me about your family will be my first one. And I'm going to give them a brief introduction to my family and ask them to do the same. So I'm going to say, my family has 4 people in it. I am married to a wonderful wife and have 2 daughters in elementary school. And I might give a little more detail. We enjoy camping together and going to Chick-fil-A, as many young families do at this point. And so now what I want the students to do is actually respond. In your response to this post, be sure to include, and again, I like bullets, so I'm going to go with bullets. How many people are in your family and who they are? What is one thing your family likes to do together? Yeah, my grammar's going to be a little off on this one. My wife would absolutely have a field day with me, but we're going to keep going with it, so sorry, English teachers, just bear with me. And the last piece, I didn't include this in my introductory post, so the students would have a cow with me for doing this, but that's okay. We're going to include, what is one family motto your family subscribes to? I'm going to put in parentheses, either verbalized or not verbalized. And this is one that I know I'm going to get questions on, and that's actually a good thing. This is a first discussion board, and I want students to get used to asking me questions about assignments. So I'm planting a question here that I know is going to make them scratch their head a little bit. And so what I'm hoping to get out of this is when students start posting to the discussion board, the first few will probably have some questions for me. But as other students see what the initial students, those rabbits they get out in front, are putting in here, they're going to get cued in and know what to do as well. So I'm teaching them, kind of not directly but secondarily here, that they need to cue from each other to learn what the right thing to do is. And people do this naturally, so this is just doing it in an online setting. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and post this to my forum. And this is telling me, yes, it is added. We can edit it for the next 30 minutes if you want to make changes, although we can always go back and edit it. And you see my post has shown up. So when I click on it, it has the information that I put in there. As the teacher, I can edit, delete, or reply to this post. When a student looks at this, the only thing they'll be able to do is reply to it, and that's exactly what we want them to do. We want them to read our post and reply to it. And my first forum, notice I did say I would give them multiple prompts. So I would come in here and add new discussion topics using the same process we just used to maybe post a picture of my favorite place and ask students to do the same thing. And possibly tell them about my education and ask them what their educational goals are. Again, just using this as a forum to get a feel for who the kids in my class are. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about discussion forums in Moodle. Until next time, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.